don't you give us a little bit of? I want to share some of this with the church. Why don't you give us a little update on how everything's going? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Okay. So, hello, Liberty Bible Church, and it's great to see you all. Well, it's good for you to see me. I can't see you all. I wish that next time we're home, we'll be able to visit. Right now, we're in Frankfurt, Germany, and you all, maybe some of you, will think that we're still in Morocco. We, after 10 years, left there and left 5 of the churches with some national pastors that we trained. And now we're living in Frankfurt. We're working with the refugees from Syria and Iran and Iraq and places where there's war. There's been over 1 million refugees come to Germany. And it allows me to be close to Morocco to continue on ministering there. So during the time of coronavirus, we're all stuck in our house, both in Morocco and here in Germany. So I was supposed to fly to Morocco just a few weeks ago and can't. But we're doing a lot of new outreach things because people are stuck in their homes. In Morocco, we're doing a Bible study online that we're offering to over 2 million of our radio listeners. We've had over 20,000 ask for a Bible from us, so we're offering them a free Bible study online, and a team of us are getting online to lead people from Adam to Jesus to help them understand why Christ came and who He is. So pray for that effort and for the churches there. And the church here in Frankfurt is doing well even during this time. We have about 30, 35 people that are meeting online on Sundays. And we'll have prayer meetings throughout the week online. And actually tonight, it's Thursday right now, and we're going to celebrate the Lord's Supper together online. So everybody was instructed how to get grape juice and the unleavened bread, and then we're going to share the Lord's Supper by online video chat. So pray for some of them that are not yet believers who will just be observing that Lord's Supper, obviously. One brother from Syria, he has been coming to church with us for 6 months and reading the Bible with us, and a family from Iran who are also still Muslim. And then there's some new believers from China and Vietnam and many different parts of the world here in our city. So thank you for supporting us and for your faithfulness. And I want to say especially hello to Pastor McCracken and Lois, and we are so excited to come back and see you all again. And Pastor Lake and his wife and kids there as well.
Do you care to share, especially right now, one of the big things that I'm trying to encourage when we're not able to meet one-on-one, we lose that community feel. And so one of the things I've been trying to encourage with a lot of this online stuff is that community, that sense of community with one another and sharing. And so you care to share something with the church, maybe something that the Lord's been teaching you or showing you personally in your studies, and something that maybe they can even dig into, maybe give them a little bit of food for thought there?
I'll combine something with some observations that I'm making during this time along with the Word of God. So we have a small group. We've broken our church into a number of different small groups that will meet during the week for prayer, Bible study, and things. And we have a few brand new believers and a couple that aren't yet believers in ours, and as well as a couple that are stronger believers that have been saved for maybe a decade or something like that. And I'm noticing that during this time of the coronavirus, those who have been walking with the Lord for years are finding this time to be a really sweet time of fellowship with the Lord, where they're cut off from the same opportunities for social interaction, so they're spending more time in meditation on the Word and in prayer and being strengthened by the Lord. And I'm finding that those who are still immature in their faith are struggling more, and they're stressed, and they're just really having a difficult time. And it reminded me of the verse that those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They will mount up on wings of eagles. They will run and not be weary, and they will walk and not faint. And for those who are just learning to walk with the Lord, if you're a new believer or you feel that you're not strong in your faith, then I think that's a really great, what would you say? It's like a really great goal to have. The way Paul said, I press towards the mark of the prize of the high calling in Jesus Christ. To know the Lord to the level that some of these believers do, who are actually enjoying the increased fellowship with Christ as their fellowship with others is lessened, though we don't choose it that way. The Lord has chosen it for us for a time. I don't see it as being, I don't say that to ridicule those who aren't strong in their faith yet, or who are just new believers, or maybe been a believer for a long time and don't feel like you've grown much. So I don't say that to ridicule those people at all, but to say those people get to watch and should pay attention to these older believers who are finding Christ to be faithful and fellowship to be sweet, and say, I want that, and I want to grow to that level.
Amen.
And I've been encouraged during our prayer meetings during the week, by a few of the believers who have given that testimony of the Lord's faithfulness.
Amen. That's great. Do you view this time as perhaps a reassessing time? Maybe individual reassessment. Have I maybe put the church as more important than my relationship with Christ? Maybe the church is a corporate reassessment time. Where's our focus been? Has our focus been on the programs that we run? Do you view some of this as... You care to...
That's a great word there. I was going to even say that is, when all the busyness of programming things can't be done anymore, then you get back to the basis of what real spiritual ministry is, to minister to souls of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be good to take that from this time and continue it on afterwards, is to focus on those things when you meet online with people to pray, to hear the preaching of the word, and you can't organize so much of the social activities as before. I think it's been a good outcome.
Amen. Well, brother, it's one of the things that we see. I don't know if you're seeing it over there as much, but sort of some of the reactions. You've got a lot of people, they're all over prophecy as far as end times. And how do you feel that our response as far as a church, or maybe just our response individually, toward things as far as quote unquote the signs of the times? What do you think as far as that's concerned?
Well, in our church, we're reading through the last few chapters in Matthew as we come closer to Easter Sunday. And just yesterday we read together Matthew 24,
mm-hmm.
in which Christ told his disciples that, "In what hour you think not the Son of Man will come." And he gave a bunch of illustrations and parables about that. And of course, during these times, we think this might be a sign of his coming. And if the sign of his coming gives us hope and gives us a feeling of excitement and a feeling of earnest waiting,
mm-hmm.
then that's really good. And that's really good. So if any of these events cause us to think about the return of Christ more, then I think that's according to the will of the Lord. Does that mean that we know that this event is directly preceding the return of Christ? Well, Matthew 24 tells us that we don't know the hour, the time when he comes.
Right.
But the church is particularly a called out group of people who should be typified by their expectant looking for the return of Christ, and we often just forget about that entirely, and that's a shame. So if this helps us to think about it more, then praise the Lord, and good.
Amen. Well, any specific? I know you'd mentioned praying for the different things, the different groups and small groups that you've got going on online, and the believers there in Morocco and around. Are there any specific requests, maybe even not ministry related, but personal, that you'd like us to keep in prayer?
Well, we have 3 kids, 2 of them teenagers, and the youngest one thinks she's a teenager here at home, so that's a personal prayer request. But we're having a great time with them. It's a real blessing to spend extra time together. So you pray for our children, and we'll pray for yours.
Definitely, brother.